This is If My People Bible reading part 90. In the book of Judges. Now that we've got a bunch of questions answered, hopefully we're back on track here, which is a good time for Judges anyway, because right from the start, so much of the Judges is can be related to today because we're living in a time of war conflict, wars and rumors of wars, and just like since 1945, I don't think the United States has won a single war. We've been in many conflicts and wars since 1945. Have we won any of them? No. Actually, no. Even the little tiny wars down the Panama area and the little islands that we attacked during the Reagan administration, we haven't won that. They went right back to what they're doing. So we can apply Judges to today's living, and I like to do that. It keeps people interested in Bible reading, apologetics, Berean studies. So we are in chapter 2, in Judges that I want to mention about, and verse 10, 11, 12, 13. And just kind of catch this as we just started the book of Judges, and it's all about wars, rumors of wars, and conflicts, and generals not doing what the commander-in-chief says. Their commander-in-chief was Abba Father. And when Abba Father told them to do something, did they do it? Well, the answer's on all the judges, no, they didn't. They did what they thought was right in their own eyes. So in verse 10 in chapter 2, it says, after that whole generation had been gathered to their fathers, another generation grew up who knew neither Yahweh nor what he had done for Israel. Now, interesting, in chapter 2, excuse me, the messenger of Yahweh, to begin with, reading chapter 2, the messenger of Yahweh went up from Gilgal to Bochim and said, I brought you out of Egypt. So he's talking about the Egypt again. He's talking about the Exodus. So no matter what happens in life, if your next generation misses it, completely misses it, you're done. You're done. Back to the Bible series, a number of ministries in the last 20, 30 years, 40 years have mentioned that. If we just miss one generation, President Reagan said the same thing. If we miss one generation, we're in trouble. Well, folks, we're in trouble. Boy, are we in trouble. The millennials who have a totally twisted idea of what the word is, and they're getting it from their 30,000 different denominations and 30,000 different opinions. And the XY Z generation, which currently are all alive and beginning to take over the United States as we age and fall away, us boomers and so forth. I'm a boomer. My brother was a boomer. I certainly thought he would live a lot longer than what he did. What a surprise that was to me and to him. So what do we do with it? So I comment, well, this is just where we are today. Our children brought up an age of tolerance in worldly matters, but the world will not tolerate our matters, false religions hidden in terms such as green earth, rainbow, coalitions, earth warming, earth changing, climate changing. Even most institutionalized churches confess and not to believe in Yeshua. And most means the last time I checked, 67% of those who call themselves Christian do not believe in Christ. Now, figure that one out. The son of Yahweh, a devil named Lucifer, an original sin. That gets into Orthodox Judaism. They don't believe, as I've mentioned 4, 5, 10 times already. They do not. And they don't even believe in the Bible. It used to be, well, okay, do you believe the whole Bible? Christians claim that all the time. Do you believe in the whole Bible? And they say, yes. And I said, do you read it and follow it? Well, no. All right. Most, and don't get too upset, sheep. I'm talking to the sheep out there. For the shepherds, hey, shepherds, do you know the Ten Commandments? Do you know inside them out? Do you know them? And don't say the Noahide laws either. Oh my gosh, where did that, straight from the pit of hell, that one came out of. Most Jewish believers are in fact atheists. I'm Ashkenazi. I'm Jewish. My name's Bernie Sanders. He's about as atheist as you can get. And he's Ashkenazi. Oh, you don't attack me. You're attacking the Jews. You're a Nazi. You're an anti-fascist. People are going to come after the fascist. I'm a fascist? What? No. Check out who the fascists were. To check out who the Germans were. Check out the majority of the Germans. Were they from the tribe of Dan? Huh? And is it true anywhere in the Bible in numerous places that the one tribe went after the other and they just picked at each other and even tried to kill each other at times? Story of Joseph? It's still going on, folks. That's why I bring it up. And it's right there in verse 10. Verse 11 gets better. Then the Israelites did evil in the eyes of Yahweh and served Baals. Well, we don't have Baals today, do we? Duh, yes we do. Baal in those days demanded the life of newborn babies. Oh, we don't do that, do we? In fact, they probably slaughtered tens of thousands of little babies in those 1,000 so years. 3,000 or 4,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years ago. They did. They probably slaughtered tens of thousands. Could you imagine wiping out an entire city of people just because of sacrifice? Well, you'd say that's obscene. Yeah, that's evilness and the greatest. Well, okay, what are we doing at the Planned Parenthood? Planned Parenthood. And once again, you Greenpeace people, I love the green world, the green idea, the green this. Okay, just do a little history. Do one quick history check. Take a look at California. Why are they having all the fires? Well, a lot of the fires are caused by the electrical problems. Why are they having electrical problems from their Pacific Gas Energy, PG&E? Why? Because of the green earth theory they believe in. They have solar panels all over the place, wind factories going on, which, by the way, cost more to make than they're worth. They cost more energy and coal and gas to make those things. That's how you make things. You can't make cars out of hot air. I mean, you've got to have some heat. And so what are they done as a result of that? You have to turn down the gas and coal furnaces throughout California, all these plants that make electricity. You got to turn them down. It costs a lot of money to turn them down because during the day, you've got your wind and your solar supplying energy. Then at night, oh my gosh, there's night, so we can't use solar at night? Duh, we can't. Hello, California, you're the dumbest people on earth. You cannot run your solar at night. Well, we'll put them in batteries. Do you know what it costs in energy to make a battery or lithium? And how much that lithium, when the batteries die, where's all that stuff going? I tell you where it's going. It's going to turn Nevada into a wasteland of nothingness. Somebody's got to get rid of the crap that California is creating. Oh, well, we don't have any emissions of carbon dioxide, and carbon monoxide you have less, but you've created all this stuff that's not going to go away for 1,000 years. So let's go back to night. So it's nighttime and everybody's screaming in L.A. and in San Francisco, all those holy people over there, they want some electricity. Well, how do they get their electricity? Well, you can't get it from solar. So what do? Well, you turn up the power plants. You turn on the gas. You turn on the coal plants. That's what you're doing. And you get it and suck it around from the other states because you don't have the ability to heat and cool. So all these power lines get extra hot during the night and the trees and so forth touch them and zap them. And the next thing you know, you have forest fires. How could that be? Okay, that's right there. And the evilness of making things that you idolize. That's Baal. We're into Baal more than you can possibly imagine. Okay. Are you hanging in here with me? I get the people who are satanic people, that's the people that don't believe in Yeshua. They're satanic. It's either one or the other. One's life, one's death. Choose life. They'd love to know where I live. And I say, come at it. Are you ready? Now we talk about Deborah in chapter 4. Now, why are they talking about Deborah? Oh, is that a sexual bias thing? Well, here's what I say from it. Deborah was in charge. Deborah did great things. Why? Because the men in those days were a bunch of mamby-pambies. Oh, what do we got today? My comment. If you're reading all of chapter 4, talking about verse 4 there, it's about Deborah and the greatness that she was for. And she did. Yahweh commanded that women are not to be in charge of the man. Now the man is the priest of the house and so forth, and women is greater and more wonderfully, and in the future, in the millennium, there's going to be a big difference in the world to come. Men and women, there is no difference. So I'm not a sexist person, but just listen to what I'm saying. If you have a woman that runs the house and never lets the man speak at all, you're going to end up with a male child that is scary, worthless. Look at certain races that bring up their children, especially the males, without a male in the family as a father figure. What's going on with that race? It's horrible. It's horrible. They don't need other people to hate them. They hate themselves. They get out there and tear each other up. Then they get in riots. They tear down their own stores. They tear down their own homes. They burn their own areas. And then they turn around and go like, reparations, reparations. I don't think so. Don't think so. But women? Where's the men today? Well, they're out playing golf. I grew up in a family where I basically am sorry. I didn't see my father very much. He was playing golf. And how often? As often as he could. Say goodbye to the weekends. Got to have men and women doing what they're supposed to be doing in life. Period. That's what Book of Judges is full of, is this information. It's great stuff. So now we go to chapter 21. Okay, you've been reading along? You're supposed to be. Let me mention on, because if you read along, you're ready for me to say this. Verse 25. In those days, Israel had no king. Now, I told you about the kings coming up. They're about as worthless as they come. Everyone did as he saw fit. Now, I mentioned that. When you have 40, 50, 60,000 federal laws and you have 300,000 state and local laws, nobody pays attention to that. You're overwhelmed with laws. So everyone today, in this day, 2020, do what they see right in their own eyes. That's what I'm talking about. Gee, is that biblical right out of the Bible? Hello, it is. This sentence sums up the entire book of Judges. These are sad consequences when you ignore Yahweh's order and self takes over your actions. What I want is good for me. What becomes obvious is you read through the entire Bible, start to finish, is that Yeshua did die on that tree, and the condemnation of the book of the law was nailed to the cross. The condemnation, not the law, the condemnation. Get it right. The condemnation of the law. So you are under the law. Paul was trying to tell you that. But he was also telling you that he was dealing with Sadducees and Pharisees who made up a bunch of lies, and the majority of their laws we're not under. Plus, we're not under the Levitical laws. We're not under all this sacrificing and doing things with blood sport just for the sake of bloodletting, so that the aroma will smell good in Yahweh's nose. What smells good in his nose now is your prayers. That's what he wants to hear and see. He wants to hear and see and feel your prayers. Just as the book of the law was hung on the side of the ark of the covenant for all to see, Yeshua became the single blood sacrifice with no more need to have blood atonement after Shiloh, the first coming. We also see that justification through faith, as Abraham demonstrated, all leads to Calvary, where Yahweh gave up his son for those who would hear and obey. Where separation occurs today with thousands of different denominations of believers is the understanding that Yeshua also commanded us to obey his Torah, as he demonstrated in the restored, or the new covenant, the newer and better covenant in the new covenant. For you see, Yahweh stated that intention, thinking a thought, is just as bad as the actions of doing wrong, sinning, missing the mark. Thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not think of murdering. This goes against any concept that today's Christians can escape any sin consequences from the word. and held liable, atoned for, without going through Yeshua. Blessings.